Hello, everybody. Welcome to another GeneaVlogger live stream. On today's stream, we're going to be building the family tree of Taylor Swift. So I think today's going to be a pretty fun one. I'm kind of interested to see if I'll be able to get a good amount of information and a lot of people coming in. I'm getting signals that my connection is apparently unstable, so hopefully things are coming through clearly. If not, let me know. Hopefully everything's working well. So let me I'm just checking a few things and I'm going to look through chat. Okay. Hopefully that audio should be better now. And we're going to just go through a lot of hellos. Hello, everybody. People coming in from all over, a lot of familiar faces. Yet the girl in your bed has a fine pedigree. We'll look into that today. Hello from Norway, Camila. Thank you for joining again. We've got a lot of hellos. Quality not great. Audio is fine though. Good. Well, yeah, it's telling me that my connection is unstable. I'm not sure why. Hopefully that'll better throughout the stream. So we'll just kind of have to deal with it. As usual, I have a map behind me that you all can guess at what it is. I had it in my last stream, which I think was a gaming stream. Or maybe it wasn't. And so, I just, if you can guess what it is, you get brownie points. Let's see. How far back are you going to go? I'm planning to just go as long as I can for a little while. Not sure how long I'm going to do today's stream. I'm going to try to keep it a little shorter than usual, not go like 2 hours, try to keep about an hour or so. So we'll see how far back we get. And yeah, some more hellos, but to start out, go ahead and share my screen. Let's make it so it's going to look the best possible. All right. Hopefully. Okay, it looks like my Wi-Fi is doing better, so hopefully I should be coming in clearer now. So what I've done already is I've built out a basic family tree for Taylor Swift. Gosh, I can tell that it's not. Hold on, I'm gonna try to change my screen a bit just so I can make it larger and more legible altogether. So we're going to play around with this a bit. I just don't want to have it blocked by all of my little insignia stuff. So that's good. Okay. I can see the screen better like that. Okay. Actually, here, I'll move it down just a bit, just trying to make it as large as possible. Okay, I think that'll be good. So far what I've done is I literally just went on to basically Wikipedia, just Googled Taylor Swift's parents, Taylor Swift's grandparents, and it was all there. So basically I just built out this basic tree, and then I figured from there we'll go and keep building. In making the thumbnail, though, interestingly enough, I found out that there are some errors that are commonly copied across the internet, interestingly enough. Yeah, I'm seeing some comments now. She can't do Who Do You Think You Are? I think she still can do it. Who Do You Think You Are is a fun one because they actually send them to the places their ancestors lived. But yeah, I mean, this is, it'll still be fun to see into this. And there's who is it? There was someone who did both Finding Your Roots and Who Do You Think You Are? I can't remember who it was. If someone knows, comment below. It's oh gosh, I can't think of her name. She was in Parks and Rec. She's in Parks and Rec and The Office. What is her name? Rashida Jones. All right. So we're just going to go from there. So I figured this would also be kind of a fun way to just talk about genealogy workflow and how I build stuff. So I know there's a lot of trees already built out there, and I'll talk about looking at other people's family trees, but you know, we won't deal with that too much. We're going to try to focus more on the documentation. But in general, what I would do when I get stuff like this, when I'm building a tree, like if Taylor Swift hired me to build her tree and all she knew was up to her grandparents, and I built it out, and then this is what I had, where would I go from here? And I know a lot of people would kind of add this stuff automatically, and I definitely review it. Like it's, you know, it's there. I don't add it instantly, but you can review it and you can look at records and things like that. And what I noticed was this great grandfather of hers, Archie, consistently people put his photo as her grandfather's photo. And I found, so you can see it here and here, but then there's actually someone, which this, you know, I don't know how they're related or whatever, but I guess somehow related to Taylor Swift, and they have this photo along with others with her grandparents. So for some reason, all over the internet, like I think I saw it on Genie. Actually, I guess it was just Genie and Ancestry I saw, but it was a lot of trees on Ancestry with it. But if we look at Robert Bruce Finlay, her grandfather, on this tree, look into the gallery, there's actually multiple pictures of him. And you can definitely tell the other photo is not him, because the other photo too, the man in the photo, is obviously much more late 19th century, early 20th century type of dress. Wow, it is not loading well. All right, let's try this again. There we go. All right, so like here's some photos of Taylor Swift's grandparents, which see any resemblance. So very, very different. But this is one of the interesting things about when you're going through stuff online, is that it is really, really easy for things to be copied over and over and people to get that wrong. And so you'll see all over the place, her grandfather, Robert, has this photo, which is not him. This is her on her other side of her family, which was an error at some point, and people just kept copying it and copying it for some reason. So, oh yeah, WikiTree has a different photo. That's good to hear. WikiTree is really good about being precise about things, and part of it is because they purposely make it difficult to add information into the tree if you don't know what you're doing. Oh, I should have done that. All right, we need to go back. Okay. Okay. Stop sharing for a second. Yeah, I wish Ancestry had like a streaming mode for me, so I could do this stuff without accidentally showing private stuff I'm working on. All right, here we go. Okay, so starting out, I think we're gonna all choose which way we're gonna go. So in chat, put either a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4. 1, we're gonna look into her paternal grandfather. 2, paternal grandmother. 3, maternal grandfather. 4, maternal grandmother. So put in 1, 2, 3, or 4, and I'm gonna see whichever one seems to have the most. That's the way we're gonna start looking up. All right, so let's see. I see. Geez, a mix. 1s, 2s, and 3s. It's a lot of 1s, a lot of 2s, a lot of 3s. Not as many 4s, although I'm starting to see some more 4s come along. Geez, I wonder if there's a polling thing, and I just don't know how to use it on here. 1, 1, 1. I think what we're going to do, I think we're going to go 1 for now, because that seems to be the most. Although, funny enough, if I look towards the end, now I'm starting to see way more fours. And I get the feeling it's because I keep saying I've seen there's less fours. But all right, let's see if I can count these. Oh, no, there's actually, I guess maybe it is 4. Are we going to go maternal route? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I can do polls and live streams. I know there's ways, but I should have looked that up beforehand. Oh, and once again, the Wi-Fi is going down again. All right. I think we're going to go purely maternal. It looks like 4 is winning out. So funny enough, 4 started off not so strong, but ended strong. So we're going to look into her maternal grandmother. So starting out with Ancestry, obviously the way to go is hints because they're right there. Now, that doesn't mean you add every hint, but the way that I do my workflow, I like to think of it in 3 steps. First, I do hints. Then I do searches, and then I do researching. So what that means is hints first, straightforward, going through literally what they're putting in hints, because some of this stuff is just straightforward. Then once you've gone through all of the hints, then you need to start doing searches, basically going into Ancestry search database and searching for Marjorie in different ways, changing the name, changing the age, changing the locations, manipulating the search function to try to pull out records that the system couldn't identify or people maybe didn't find earlier. Or, you know, a lot of times it's just because the record was indexed or transcribed in a way that was off or incorrect or whatever. Then once you've done that search phase, then it's researching. That's when you start doing the in-depth, okay, now I know this about her. There's nothing online about it. Can I find something else? Like maybe we found out that her grandmother was a model at some agency. Well, then maybe we can go and look at, are there records available connected to that agency or connected to anything that she did? And so those are the 3 steps of researching, in my mind, in the general workflow: hints, searching, researching. So now we're going to, most of what we'll probably do in this stream is hints, because there's been a lot of stuff built out for her family tree. A lot of people have done it. Her family seems to be fairly open about their family tree stuff. I mean, it was very easy for me to just Google who her grandparents were. And I don't know much about Taylor Swift songs, so people might be able to tell me, but I think she's sung a lot about her family too. So starting out, we're going to kind of skip through all of this stuff that has the review ignore option on it, because the review ignore option stuff is stuff that other members added. And a lot of it is obviously photos and then, you know, a few other things from different places. We do have some articles. So this is an article about her grandmother, the attractive soprano who will appear as soloist with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra at its pop concert Sunday afternoon. And yeah, goes into her. So yeah, Taylor gets her from somewhere. So we're going to go into the records first, because I figured that'd be a fun thing, especially for a lot of people jumping in because they're Taylor Swift fans. So skip GenieNet Community Trees Index. This is literally genienet.com. So these are trees built by other people. So it's not direct records. This is kind of, this is, I guess, a secondary source is what you could consider it. So the first thing, U.S. Social Security Applications Claim Index. This is something just so we can get back a generation. Fairly straightforward too, because you often see the changing of names, so you can feel a bit more confident if you're not quite sure what was the maiden name or quite what was going on with them. So this is straightforward though. So now we have her parents, Elmer and Cora. So we're just going to get this added in, and this is just an index, so there's not really anything to look at here. So we're just going to do quick adding in. But then what we're going to do is we're going to look here at the 1950 census. Now, this census is the most recent census to come online. It just came online the other year. I guess, what was it? 2022. I don't remember at what point in the year, but basically every 72 years, a census comes out. And, I need to I need to turn this on. The settings, the highlight household. I turn it off because when I'm taking pictures for when I'm taking pictures for my videos of censuses and stuff, it's easier to put in my overlays. So here we have Taylor Swift's grandmother, Marjorie, at the age of 21. So she's living in the house with her parents. We can see Elmer's from Missouri, mother Cora from Arkansas. So these are Taylor Swift's great-grandparents. We see Marjorie's grandmother, so Emma Molenkamp. So she's 85 years old. So born in 1865, I think it is. Doesn't say no, it does. So she's widowed. So her husband's dead, but she's from Missouri. So we know that if we go up this Molenkamp line, we're going to be looking at Missouri ancestry. We get a lot of information, occupation category, worked last week. So no, seeking work, employment status, hours worked. So we can see here that Marjorie was working 40 hours a week singing for radio work. So genetics. Anyway, so the grandfather, sales manager, retail, wholesale at, what is that? Brickyard. Ah, yeah, Brickyard. That makes sense. Birchyard. I was thinking birch trees. Been playing a lot of city skylines and making forest industries. So yeah, so this is 1950 census, but even better than anything, and I'm sure a lot of genealogists that are familiar with the 1950 census are going to be like, is he going to mention it? Is he going to mention it? Is he going to mention it? She was chosen for the sample line. So when we go down here, every so many people, they choose to get more information about them, basically. So you can see every couple of lines. And basically this is, they don't want their enumerators spending a ton of time talking to every single person, getting all these details. So they only choose so many people. And for 1950 census, it just so happened that Taylor Swift's grandmother was the one chosen. So the details that they give aren't too amazing, but they're still pretty interesting. Were they living in the same house a year ago? Yes. So she's been living there for a while. Was living on a farm a year ago? No. Was living in the same county a year ago? Yes. So her grandmother has been living here, which I should say here is, where is here? St. Charles, Missouri. Kind of didn't look at where it was before. So they're in St. Charles, Missouri. So fathers from the U.S., mothers from the U.S. What is the highest grade of school that has been attended? So C4, I don't remember. Let's see. C4, undergraduate, 4 years. So her grandmother at this point, 4 years in college, and she was 21. So that makes sense. So she might have just been finishing up with college because this was, let's see, I think it was July usually, or April. Okay, so this one was April. So yeah, she's probably finishing up her last year in college when this was taken. Did finish this grade? Yes. Oh, so she had finished. Should have looked. Has attended school at any time since February 1st? No. So I guess she graduated before February 1st. And then we see last year and how many weeks did this person do any work at all, not counting work around the house, 15 hours a week. How much money did they earn working as an employee for wages and salaries? So her grandmother in 1950 made $498 after 15 weeks of work. And then no other further information here about hers other than, last year, how much money did earn, own business, profession, professional practice or farm, none. And yeah. So just a fun thing. Let's see, chats. Could the surname Molenkamp be a variation of Mellencamp? It certainly could be. It very well could be. That'll be something interesting to see as we build up. We might also want to look into building down, which is something I love to do. And maybe we'll start to see that surname added in. So we're going to close this out and add this in. So it's not going to add too much except for her parents. We're going to get a little bit more information to add in. So save that to the tree. And for Ancestry, I always keep maiden names in the tree. It's just easier. And of course, with Ancestry, I always find I have to reload the page for it to add in what I've just added. So, all right. So we were looking at the 1950 census. Now let's go back 10 years. And now we'll look at the 1940 census when Taylor's grandmother was even younger. I'm going to pause to blow my nose. Okay. So now we've gone back 10 years and now we're in the 1940 census. We are still in St. Charles, Missouri, St. Charles Township, and it's April 25th, 1940, so almost 10 years exactly before. And so now we see Marjorie with her sister Virginia Lee. So now we have a sibling, and then we have her parents, Elmer and Cora, although it looks like we might actually get Cora's middle name now, L. Lee. So before it was just Cora L, so now we have Lee, which could be helpful because Lee might be a ancestral surname in the family. Then we also have this lodger living here, Lorraine Hockman, and she's a 20-year-old lodger from Michigan, and her family's from St. Louis. So with this lodger, it'll be interesting to see if there is a family connection, because sometimes you do find that. My own family in the 1900 census in New Jersey, there was a lodger who I then found out was a cousin to the family, and it opened up this entire branch. So continuing down the line, Marjorie's 11 years old. This Virginia Lee is her older sister, 15 years old. And showing now that they were born in Tennessee, and I can't remember if it showed that before. I'll have to look and see. For some reason, I don't remember that. But parents, Arkansas and Missouri, a lot of St. Charles, Missouri for where they're living. And I'm trying to remember, yeah, just resident since 1935. Then we have more information about the work. We see that Elmer was a sales manager at the retail brick company in 1940. So he's been doing this he did it for a long time. Yeah, we just get a lot of kind of general information here. So we're building out the family tree pretty well. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about the census records, because I feel like census records are, they're fun, but they're also kind of simple. There's not as much interest to it. And we want to we want to get back to. So let's see if we have any interesting stuff. We have a arrival record from traveling to Puerto Rico. So let's see. Permanent address, Garden Hills, Puerto Rico. Interesting. And then we have Robert Bruce Finley, her grandfather. Interesting. So it looks like her grandparents lived in Puerto Rico. Is that something well known? I should say that even though I built out to the grandparents, I did not look much into her family tree. I did look on Genie.com and see that there was a very well built out family tree, but nothing beyond that. Yeah, Memphis, Tennessee is her birthplace. So that's interesting. I just want to add that in. Okay, so we did have Memphis, Tennessee. Yeah, I guess I didn't wasn't paying attention to that. All right, so we're not going to focus too much on the 1930 census. I'm going to add it in just in case she had other older siblings. Wow, actually, hold on. Let's take a look. What's going on with this family? It's a big family living together. Okay, so we have Henry Mullenkamp, Emma, son Martin. So we have an older brother, a much older brother. Oh, wait. Oh, no. These are the grandparents. Okay. So Elmer and Cora and that family. And then we have uncle, aunt, and, or yeah, I guess just uncle and cousins. And then grandparents. Interesting. All right. So I'm actually not going to add this in through her. I'm going to go up to her parents and add them in because that I think would be better. Just because depending on who's the focal person when you add it in, it won't have you add in all of the information. Let's put that. So we've got Elmer's parents, which we wouldn't have been able to add in if we'd added it through Marjorie. We have the wife, Cora, Virginia, Marjorie, and then we have, I guess Martin would be Taylor's, well, I guess depending on how you do it, but Taylor's either great grand uncle or second great uncle. So if you watch my most, or wait, oh my gosh, I haven't even thought about this. A little preview of what you might be able to see in the reaction that'll be coming out on Monday. I do a reaction to a video talking about relationships, and that's one of the things that I talk about is the discussion between great grand uncles and aunts or okay. Let me restart this. It's so confusing sometimes. So you have your grand aunts and uncles, and then there are other people that just say great aunt and uncle. And then if you go another generation back for that, then you have your great grand aunts or uncles, or your second great aunts and uncles. Hopefully that's making sense. I'm gonna actually post it in the chat so this makes sense. So people are like, wait, what? So there's great grand aunt, uncle. Ugh, I can't type. Versus second great aunt, uncle. So this is a debate in the genealogy community that I've seen that I've heard arguments from both camps from professional genealogists. So, yeah, and there was a debate about this in the Discord too. So, Kosovo, I did the same thing. I always said great aunt, second great aunt, and all of that. I never said grand aunt, great grand aunt. Although I should say one funny thing in my family, my dad's side, my mom's side say aunt and aunt differently. So my dad's side says aunt, and my mom's side said aunt. And every time I say it, because I say it more like my mom's side, aunt, my dad makes fun of me and he goes, aunt. Like it's so posh, I guess you could say. My aunt, not my aunt. My aunt. All right. So by the way, is the screen large enough? Should I try to get this larger? Because I keep looking on my screen that shows me what I see, and I don't know if it's coming in less than what it could be. So all right. So now we're going to take a look at some other stuff. So let's look at this death certificate, and it's either for Elmer or Cora. So this is for Cora. So Cora Lee Molenkamp, date of death 1962. So this would have been well before Taylor was born, because Taylor Swift was born, I think, what was it, 1989, something like that. So this is her her great grandmother's death certificate, Cora Lee, and we get a generation back. So her parents, Sanford H. Morrow and Sally Faulkner. Then we have what country? USA. And then we get informant Elmer. And then the reason that she died, heart disease, obviously, something, congenital heart failure, and then bronchopneumonia. So an interval between onset and death, many years, 4 days terminal. So it looks like her great-grandmother, Taylor's great-grandmother, was dealing with heart disease for many years, and then something, I guess, happened. Maybe she had a heart attack or something, and then for 4 days, basically, they, knew she was on her deathbed. So this is 1962. We have the doctor who's attended to the deceased since 1960. No autopsy performed. And then let's see if there's anything on the back. Something that you should always do if you don't. Always check the next page if you can. Not always a whole lot. Interesting, though, we see the embalmer, the license number of the embalmer and the person who embalmed them. So this brings us back another generation, although I don't think it's in the indexing of this record, so we won't be able to add it in automatically, which is one unfortunate thing I find with Ancestry, is that a lot of times there'll be information on records that they have an index for some reason, like that. The parents, I think, are really important. On a lot of death records, I feel like the parents are included, so it's interesting it didn't. Okay, so we're looking at Elmer, born 1897. So the thing that I'm kind of curious about, I want to see if there's any military service indication. We have the draft record, but a draft record is just, or the draft registration is just a registration. It doesn't mean they're actually drafted. But he would have been of the right age. It looks like the writing's been enhanced for some reason. So working International Shoe Company. So he wasn't always working in brickyards. And the name and nearest relative is Father Henry. And his signature, kind of it's a pretty nice signature, E.H. Molenkamp. Look at that M and the, yeah. So blue eyes, light brown hair, has person lost arm, leg, hand? No. So, all right, let's go ahead and add that in. So, not sure if he served. What we can do is we can look on fold 3. So, even though we technically have not finished doing the hint phase of research, doesn't mean we can't jump forward and go into the searching phase. So fold 3, for those who are not familiar, is a website all about military records, and it is through Ancestry. So if you have a Ancestry World Access membership, I believe it's called, then you get automatic access to fold 3 and newspapers.com, which are both highly useful websites for research. So we're looking up Elmer Molenkamp. I think that was the right way to spell it. So we have Elmer Henry Molenkamp, and doesn't look like we have much going on. What is this? We have a John W. Molenkamp. That's not him. Maybe it's a relative, but no. So it doesn't look like we have any indication that he served. Social Security death index. So, yeah, I guess he did not serve. So, not surprising, but just something to check, because one of the things as a genealogist that you learn, especially when you're trying to find stories of the family, is family members of a certain age, you can often, look for certain things that correlate to the history around them. So for a lot of men in the U.S., depending on their age, were they fighting in one of the wars? So we're focusing on that line because that's what we voted on first. So we'll look into other stuff too. So now let's look at Cora, which those names do match up with the names that we had before. So that we saw in a record. See what they have. One thing you can do when you look at these, if you see like 1900 United States Census repeated multiple times, you're usually looking at a tree that might have a little bit of issues with it. All right. So I'm not going to add those straight up. We do see people have added the gravestone. So this is Taylor Swift's great-grandparents. And I'm actually kind of curious, now that I'm on this, have any other Ancestry users noticed this issue? This is an issue I just started to have the other day, where when I view images, they show up like this. So not sure if anyone in the chat works with Ancestry either, but we'll go to the Find Engraved because I'm sure that's where the photo came from. And you know what we'll do? We'll take a look at some newspaper. We'll search for some newspaper stuff because that usually turns up some interesting stuff. And Mullenkamp is uncommon enough name, we might be able to find some good stuff. So, all right. So we have. Let's zoom this in more. Boom. Okay. Is that legible for everyone? Okay, hopefully that's legible enough. So, oh look, yeah, see, the tree's already really well built out. Great grandmother Taylor Swift. So here we have the gravestone, great grandparents, other things people have added. So we have Elmer Henry Mullenkamp. It looks like a bond for a license, marriage license, and then this is the death record that we were looking at before for her great grandmother. So now what I want to do is we're going to actually look into newspapers and see if we can find her grandparents or great grandparents. Maybe grandparents too. We were looking at both. So let's see. Marjorie Mullenkamp. So when I do searches for stuff, I start broad and then go narrow. So right off the bat, we're already finding a lot of stuff. And this one, we can tell there's a photo. So Miss Marjorie Mullenkamp, 21-year-old singer, receives a congratulatory kiss from Hal Fredericks of KXOK, the Star Times station, as she was announced yesterday as the winner of a talent contest held in connection with the St. Louis appearance of the American Broadcasting Company network program Music with the Girls. And you can see lots of clippings that people have done of this article, probably people researching Taylor Swift's family tree. And yeah, you get some of the information about her. So it's pretty cool to see the articles. And there was a lot of other stuff too. So this one's earlier, 1946. This is a marriage. Virginia Mullenkamp becomes bride of D. Humphrey. So preceding the bride down the aisle, where her sister's Miss Marjorie Mullenkamp is maid of honor, and the bridesmaids Mrs. Virginia Wood Blattner of Mexico. What is that? Mexico, Montgomery, Virginia. Oh, Mexico, Missouri. Montgomery. What? Anyway, Virginia Boschert, Betty Gauss, and Miss Marion Jane Wagner Jr. Bridemaids were Diane Barber and the groom's niece from Kansas City, and blah, 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 blah. The maid of honor, Marjorie Mullenkamp, wore a gown of ivory net and carried a colonial bouquet of gold chrysanthemums, which matched her tiny bonnet of gold. She wore short white gloves. So honestly, you know, it'd be cool because I know Taylor Swift's really into like the whole designing her own outfits. She should do a whole line of like outfits that are based on her ancestors. And just from this description, I bet actually, honestly, you probably find wedding photos. All you have to do is find the descendants of the Humphrey side and they might have photos. Is Charlie in the chat? Do I have any of my people in the chat? So, same article, 1952, got a different one. So now we have her marriage information. And sorry, just I'm getting so many messages coming in on my phone right now. All right, so this is her great-grandmother's marriage announcement, Miss Marjorie Mullenkamp, who's to be married March 22nd to Robert Bruce Finley. Look at how many people have clipped this. So yeah, I mean, you can see how many people have really researched this. So I bet a lot of this is really easy to find elsewhere already. So here we have another one from 1940, and she's much younger. The Mrs. Charlene and Marilyn Tweedy and Miss Marjorie Mullenkamp of St. Charles, who spent the holiday and weekend with the Mrs. Tweedy. So September 3rd, 1940. Not as many people clipping this. I wonder if people just weren't quite sure if that was her or not. And then, oh yeah, music scholarship. So I guess her great-grandmother, obviously, or not her great-grandmother, this is her grandmother, became a singer. So yeah, I should say, if anyone's, for any Swifties in the chat, I don't know a whole lot about Taylor Swift, so don't hate me if this is like well-known history or something with her family. Let's get this screen back. All right. So what I'm thinking is I want to build back pretty quickly. So let's add this stuff really in, because I want to see if we can start kind of pulling some stuff that, a lot of the recent stuff I feel like a lot of people will have pulled up, but not quite as much on the more distant branches. The further out you get, the fewer people that are going to be able to reliably actually do that type of research. Let's get all that added in, make sure it's nice and cleaned up. And now we're going to go up to the parents, let it load. Sanford, we need to fix Sally for some reason. Did not add that in. Boom, boom, bap. Oh yeah, actually, I forgot to turn on the music today. I'll put it on for now, but if it's actually distracting, let me know. I was never sure which way was best. I kind of like having it on like in the background, but I also I don't know. I know some people aren't the biggest fans, so let me just keep something on in the background. Not this one now. Yeah. Happy times, no vocal. There we go. All right. So Sanford Hewitt Morrow. One thing I want to do, so Ancestry member trees, we have, look, Swift family tree. So other people, we have a My family tree. So M. Washam, I can't remember, that might have been the person who had the photos of the correct grandfather there. So it could be an actual relative of some sort. But interestingly enough, right off the bat, we have a will and probate record here. And we get the full thing. So this is Taylor Swift's second great-grandfather's will. Let's see, where does it start? Does it start up here? Yeah, here we go. So here we go. Last will and testament of Sanford Hewitt Morrow, Taylor Swift's second great-grandfather. In the name of God, amen. So then it lists I, Sanford Hewitt Morrow, of Del. I know what the meaning is. I can't read it very well right now. music could be a little bit lower. All right, we'll turn it just a little bit lower. Let's see how that plays. But it gives just kind of general stuff, and then you have your stipulations. So first, being duly grateful to the all-wise orator for the many blessings of life. My immortal spirit, to him who gave it, and my love to the earth. So he was very religious, obviously. Second, my hearty good will and sincere thanks for this many kindnesses I leave to my friends, to my beloved wife and children, with which it has pleased God to bless me and my home and make it happy. I leave the... Oh, for a second I thought that said Swift, but I think that sweet. Leave the sweet-faced memory of our enduring and tender love. Third, my executor shall first pay out of my estate all my debts that I may owe at the time of my death. The same may be paid without being probated against my estate. Fourth, I give and devise to my beloved wife, Sally, who married... Wait, yeah. So Sally, this is Taylor's second great-grandmother. So Sally Wool's, the home residence situated on lot 7, 8, and 9, block 19, in the favor of DeWitt, Arkansas County, Arkansas. So he's leaving her property to his and our absolute right, so long as the remains my widowed, or so long something. In the event of her marriage or at the death, the same place to a part of my estate to be claimed equally. Okay, basically, if she dies or gets remarried, then it goes to his children. So he doesn't. It sounds like he doesn't want her to remarry. I decide to make provision. I designed to make this provision, however, my wife may exchange said home for another of equal value or sell same and money. The simple title, something. Yeah, so basically he's leaving her land. She can sell it, but I guess there are other stipulations to it. And is that it? Did I skip something? I guess that's it. It's kind of a short will. And then let's see. Is this side pertaining to him, or is... Sometimes it's hard to tell what part's pertaining to who. Just got to go. You need to find the names. Suspended of NB. Yes. Deceased. NB Hickey. Oh wait, the page repeats. Why does it repeat it? Okay, so something's wrong with the Ancestry system. So image 388 is the same as image 387. Now, this is an issue that I've run into before, unfortunately. So I thought something was weird. It's like, what is going on here? You can't just end like that. And then I name it and now appoint as the attorney of my estate, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So leaving stuff to his wife. Fifth, I do hereby appoint, make, and constitute, or my wife, Sally Wells Morrow, the executor and trustee of my estate. All right, let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just a clear image. No, at least on my end, it looked the exact same. I know on the from what you all see, it might come in a little bit more pixelated, I guess you could say. So wow, he definitely has a lot of land to leave. So 6, I hereby further bequeath to my said wife in trust for my children above, named in hereafter, all my other property, both personal and real, including lots 1, 2, 3, 7, 10, 11, and 12, all which are situated my residence in St. Charles. I wonder where this property is. Like, I wonder if it's still in the family. And if so, I wonder if she knows about it, because that's kind of cool. This is, land that her second great grandfather obviously had a lot of in St. Charles, Missouri. And it's very possible that a lot of the family could still be living there. Let's see. Oh, can someone hire you? Right now, I don't have availability for private clients. I'm not taking any right now. I may in the future, but this is actually a good place to say that in my Patreon, I have 2 options that give you a one-on-one session with me, either a half-hour session or an hour session once per month, for however, for every month that you do a Patreon thing for that, you get a one-on-one session. And so, I can't do necessarily in-depth genealogy that takes hours and hours, but I can help guide and do things like that. So I may take private clients again in the future, but right now I'm just doing that. But that is available, so if you want to do that, go over to my Patreon. And then you also get access to a lot of other stuff too. I'm putting exclusive content up there, early access to a lot of videos, things like that. So you get the one-to-one stuff and other on top of it. So, all right. So continuing, he's left a lot of this stuff to his family, proper to the children. Then 7th, my beloved wife, as such executor, trustee, and guardian, is hereby authorized and empowered to rent or lease any and all of said property above mentioned, to collect the rents and property therefrom, and to, so she can rent it out. If from it's my further advice side that my daughters Frances Wells Morrow and William Helen Morrow it is further will and design that my daughters Frances Wells Morrow and William Helen Morrow. Is that William, or am I reading that wrong? Did he name one of his daughters William? William Helen Morrow, who are grown and educated. Unless maybe it's like a Mrs. William Helen Morrow, which, that does happen. And I guess, I don't know. Okay. Seems such use phase, commendable employment, and do everything in their power to assist their mother in the support of everything. Okay. So I do this 18th day of October in. When is it in? In the year of our Lord, 1912. In duplicate, Sanford Hewitt Morrow. Signed, sealed, all that fun stuff. For a second, just going through it, maybe it's just the Taylor Swift thing in the mind. That kind of looked like it was like, how some girls will draw a heart over an eye? That kind of looked like that. Like, anyone else see that for a second? Okay, so last will and testament of Taylor Swift's second great grandfather. So now let's go ahead and add in some of the family stuff. We'll do the 1900 census, because if we were to rank favorite censuses, 1900 census is my favorite census. And I think the reason for that is because it gives so much simple yet genealogically useful information that a lot of others don't. So, looking at Twitch. Oh yeah, I remember last time the Twitch got to 10 viewers. What are we at on Twitch right now? Two. So I'm trying to build up on Twitch and Facebook. So if anyone's has accounts there, definitely go follow me there too. Helps out a lot. So thank you for reminding me about that. All right. So we've got the 1900 census here, and we're in Arkansas now. So before we've been, we a lot of Missouri, and now this family's Arkansas, Prairie Township. So this is 12 years before the last will and testament was done, and enumerated 23rd of June. All right, so going down here, we have this family household, and I'm trying to remember Taylor's grandmother's Cora, who's the unnamed baby. So, or wait, Taylor's great-grandmother Cora is this unnamed daughter, 6 months old, unnamed. I wonder what they call their great-grandmother. That's kind of funny. So I guess her great-grandmother didn't have a name for the first 6 months of her life. They just were like, I don't know, Cora? Lee? What should we call her? I need to blow my... Cold here. Okay, so we have Sanford Morrow, born December 1855. He's 44 years old, and he's married to Sally W., and she's 26 years old. So there is an 18-year difference. Is that right? Yeah, 18 years. They've been married for 9 years. One of the reasons why I love the 1900... This section right here, this elevates the 1900 census so much, because this tells us they've been married 9 years, and this tells us that they had 4 children and that 4 children are still alive at the time of the census. So we can see those 4 children here: Fanny, William, Anna, and the unnamed, yet to be named Cora. So there, we can see that Sanford, born in Arkansas, wife born in Mississippi, but Sanford's parents were from Tennessee and Alabama. Sally's parents were from Mississippi and Mississippi. And then for the children, obviously, we know their parents were Arkansas and Mississippi. Now, we do see that Sanford's brother, Archibald, his younger brother, is living there. He's single and living as a boarder. So his occupation is a boarder. Interesting. That's kind of funny. That's basically like, I guess that's a nice way of saying that your occupation is you just kind of bum off your brother. I wonder if that's something that's kind of known in the family. Probably not, because I mean, Sanford dies. When did he? His will's 12 years later, but he dies. Oh, okay, yeah. So he dies 12 years after this census. So he was young. Well, actually, I guess not. I mean, not crazy young, but he was decently, 56. That's fairly young to, yeah. So, and then a confirmation here. Yeah, daughter's name is William. Interesting. I don't know if I've ever heard of any girls named William before. Comment in the chat if you've heard that before. Interesting. I want to look. Let's look into William. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's add this stuff in now. Want to add in the Arkansas bit, but not the less nuanced birth date. That's all the same. We'll add in all the siblings. Boop, boop. Of course, I click it twice. Oh wait, that's not unnamed. Not a new person. That's Cora. Unless, yeah, no, that has to be Cora. November 1899. All right, so we'll, yeah. Okay, so that's something we need to keep in mind. But I mean, that's got to be her. It's not uncommon with censuses to get it wrong, but I'm guessing it's more along the lines that she was born 1900 than 1899. Okay, so William H. Morrow. Yeah, Wilhelmina. Yeah, I've seen Wilhelminas before, but I mean, this is 2 places now that we've seen the name written as William. Birth certificate, William Helen Morrow. Very interesting. So this is the birth of Taylor Swift's great-grandmother's older sister. So Taylor Swift's second great aunt is the way I prefer to say it, or her great-grand aunt. So William Helen Morrow, born December 3rd, 1894. Sally Wells Faulkner. We need to make sure that the Faulkner part's in there because I noticed that wasn't. Okay. So Arkansas. And nothing, no back part to it. All right, so let's add that in. Let's see if we can find anything about. All right, so yeah, look, you can see that the 1900 census information was way off, like almost a year or so. Because one of the things when it comes to contradictions is context amongst records is key. So obviously, the actual birth certificate, the context of it being done right around the birth, presumably, I mean, that's actually something sometimes to look into is when was it completed? So, well, I guess delayed birth certificate, I literally am just, as I'm saying, context is key. Boom, context is key. For a second, I was thinking, okay, this December 3rd birth date is much more reliable, done right around the birth. Well, no, I was wrong. It's a delayed birth certificate filed May 24th, 1956. So the reliability of this is actually less in the sense that this is, 56 or over 62 years after her birth, this birth certificate was done, whereas the 1900 census was not that many years. So could be closer into the actual truth. But it could, the truth is that we don't know it. There's just a confidence level of which one is more confident or not. So, all right. Oh, Charlie's here. Hey, Charlie. Welcome, welcome. So, all right. So let's see. Find a grave. Do we get any photos? We get a photo of the gravestone. So this is, let's see, does it have sibling? Yeah. So siblings, Coralie Morrow Mullenkamp, that's Taylor Swift's great grandmother. This is her sister, and then Sanford Hewitt Morrow, the second great grandfather. And here's his gravestone. So born in 1855, so born 10 years before the Civil War and living in Arkansas. So, oh, I just noticed. I always screw that up. You guys didn't follow. It didn't follow along to find a grave. Here we go. So find a grave. What I was showing before. So here we have Helen Morrow Davis. So her name William Helen Davis, but it seems like she went mostly by Helen, obviously. And here we have Coralie Morrow Mullenkamp, Taylor Swift's great grandmother, and sibling to Helen. And here we have Helen's stone, and then parents for Helen, or her father, Sanford Hewitt Morrow, who we were looking at his will, and he is the second great-grandfather of Taylor Swift. So, all right, lots and lots and lots to say. Let's get back to Ancestry. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that in. So, giving us a spouse and a daughter who was likely born Davis. So I go ahead and change it because I prefer the maiden name. And yeah, so not much else. It very interesting though, her full name being William Helen Morrow, not Wilhelmina or any sort of thing like that, specifically William Helen. So that's very interesting. But she seemed to go mostly by Helen, which I guess that probably a lot of people are like, wait, your name's William? Okay, so let's see. Which way should we go? Do we want to keep continuing up this branch? Do we want to go up the other branch? Oh, and I'm... Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going up Molenkamp. So, okay, so we're already going right back. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. Whatever. All right. I think it's pretty. I think it's right, but I did not mean to add that in like that. Okay. So we have Johann Wilhelm Molenkamp, and at this point, going back to the tree, let's take a look. So this is Taylor Swift. So we have Taylor here, grandparents, second grade. So Johann William Molenkamp is her third great grandfather, and he is the immigrant ancestor, along probably with his spouse, this Anna Cruz. So born in Hanover, Germany, which I guess must have been part of Prussia. So let's see what we're working with here, because this, once you start getting out of the US, that's when you want to start kind of looking into other non-ancestry type of websites that are specifically for those areas. So we have this Kingdom of Hanover. Now, my question when I see stuff like this is, can we actually find the images of this? So look at the source. Family Search has it. So let's see if we can pull that up on Family Search. So what I've pulled up here, this Hanover German Empire church records page, which gives a lot of information on these church records. And the one that we want is, let's see, Kingdom of Hanover. Let's see. But it's, let's see, 1684, 1892 burials. Okay, interesting. So this collection contains the indexes. Oh, wait, this is just showing. Okay. We need to find, do they have records online page? Online church records. Archeon. That was one of the websites that I did not know about. So let's learn about it together. So for everyone that watched my ranking genealogy websites, this was one that was on the list, but I had never really used before. So we need to do Hanover, which where is Hanover? I can't remember. I feel like it's in the northern part, isn't it? I need to pull up a map on another page. Yeah, it's right below Hamburg. So I guess it's here. Ish. All right. Well, let's see. Yeah, Hanover. Okay, so we are looking for the Molenkamp name anyway. So I've never used this website before, so we're gonna learn about it together. Okay, yeah. All archives. So first, I always start out with how it's actually spelled. Well, let me. Let me. Okay. Archive Lutheran Church. Now, what church did it show that they were in? Okay, I'm gonna change this. I usually don't like to show things like this, but I'm just gonna do it anyway because it just makes it easier jumping back and forth. Perfect. Wunderbar. Okay, so Lutheran baptisms. So we are looking at Lutheran Church. State Archive. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh, they want the archive name, not the person. Okay, let's see. Interesting. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on. So the one thing I usually try to do is when you go into the wiki, there's almost always a little button that says online records, and it's not here. It's not populated for some reason. All right, let's go back. We haven't even built anything out from what we have here. So we do have this birth record, which we're not 100% sure is even her ancestor. It seems likely from what there is, it's matching up, but we can't be 100% sure. So even looking up here, we can see for GenieNet that they do have these parents matching up with what's here. Granted, it's abbreviated, which I guess that's how the record probably shows up, is they just spell JOH, and then, you know, it's just assumed. So we have the marriage here: Anna Maria Catherine Cruz, Echem Welhem Camp. I'm sure this is, when we look at it, it's going to be, it's probably indexed by OCR or something. Oh wow, yeah, look at that. It's coming up all cockeyed on my screen. So can we find, so the first thing when looking at records like this is I'll look for a place where I can confidently identify where the name's going to land and then start looking for the name. I want to say it's over here. Yeah. So we're looking for that Molenkamp name. So her her ancestor's marriage is somewhere in here. Yeah. It's somewhere in there. I can't find it. So I'd need to really, let's see, Anna Cruz. See if maybe there's a clear page. Probably not. This scan, you can tell, was scanned a long time ago. I wouldn't be surprised if this was scanned in the early 2000s, if not the late 90s, because scans are so much better. And this is terrible. This is over. It seems like it was too much lighting. So let's invert colors. Does not help. Sometimes that helps. If you didn't know about that little trick, they have that available. So sometimes you can kind of tell, but it just goes to show how bad the getting the wheel of death. Oh no. No. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry about that. It was just like it glitched right as I found it. Okay, so we need to bring that back up. Woo! Whoops-a-daisy. Yeah, the Swifties found my house. Actually, one of my neighbors is a huge Swiftie. She's like flown around to see her, and yeah. Okay, let's go back to the tree. Woo! I don't know what it is with my Wi-Fi today, but my Wi-Fi has been doing terrible. So I don't know. Hopefully it's not a continued issue. Drink some of my energy drink. Okay. So we were starting to look at Johann, but I realized we hadn't even really looked at Henry. So let's look at Henry for a bit. And see. Yeah, sweet. So here. Okay, this must be his son Alvin. So now is that Al? Here we go. So here's Alvin Molenkamp. It looks like, yeah. And Alvin, I guess, is Henry's son. So let's get all his children added in here. Let's see if he has. So Emma, Omer. They have Martin. Let's see. We have an Oliver, a Martin, so we get one more here. Henry John Molenkamp. So just you're going to see what a fast flow for me looks like real quick. I'm going to get a whole bunch of stuff added in real quickly just to kind of build it out a bit. So, oh gosh, connection is unstable. Yeah, I need to start plugging. I'm going to do a direct plug into my router for the next streams. All right, so now we've got the 1900 census. So all the same kids. I'm curious what this other family that's living there, who are they? Boarding family. The Burns or the Buns or the something. Bruns. That could be it. Okay. So let's get that added in. Boom, 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 boom. Nothing special to add there. Let's see. Obituary 1937. Henry J. Molenkamp. Oh, God. I keep sharing the wrong way. I'm sorry, everybody. I apologize. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So we have Henry J. Molenkamp. Hammett P.L. Asleep in Jesus Wed. January 6, 1937, 9 a.m. Dear husband of Emma Molenkamp. Wow, so it gives the actual time. Interesting. Okay, dear father of Oliver D. Martin, W. and Elmer H. Molenkamp, our dear brother, father-in-law, and grandfather. So that Alvin that we saw before might not be... Whoa. That we saw. Yeah, this Alvin, unless it's supposed to be Oliver, but that... Who is this Alvin character then? Oh, state of Arizona, born in St. Charles, Missouri, April 1886. Employed with a mining company. Huh. So who is 1886? He would have been 14 in 1900. So if he's 14 in 1900... Yeah, so... Oh, okay, so yeah, so... Oh, if only we had the 1890 census. 5 kids born, 5 kids alive. We have these 3 here. So, but this is all of... This, honestly, that's 1885. So that could be him. Oliver may have gone by Alvin. So what we can do, let's take a look at Oliver. Alvin is son of Henry H. M., not Henry J. M. That could be it. But the thing is I guess we'll have to see how many Henry Molenkamps were living in that area at that time. But the other thing is we can see is that, all right, well, this is cool. We're getting some photos. So here we have Oliver Dietrich Molenkamp. Now, is he a kid here or is that him with his family? Let's see. And what do they have? They don't have Alvin. I get the feeling Alvin is not truly part of this. At least not a son of the William that is, yeah. So, all right. So we have Mary Molenkamp. So Mary Molenkamp is probably a relative of Taylor Swift. So, yeah, the Molenkamps. And here we go. So, Taylor Swift and this Mary Molenkamp share this on ancestor, Johann Henrik Molenkamp. So, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right, so okay. So we're the focus that we were trying to do was to figure out, is that Alvin a son of R. William? Okay. Or of R. Henry, excuse me. And it did not seem to be that way. It did not seem to be the case. So going back, yeah, and this is a Henry H. Molenkamp, not a Henry J., which Scorpion Weaving Scorpion had pointed out. So I'm guessing that Alvin is not part of this family, especially born in 1886. The only way it could be is if it's Oliver, and for some reason he's using a different name. But let's see. Could it be him? Okay, we have that photo. And then let's see, where was the... I hate how it comes out like this. Okay, so assuming that this is Oliver, the most likely scenario, assuming that this is also Oliver, but it doesn't seem to be, is that they would look... They look like they could be relatives, but it does not look like the same man. I mean, the ears very different. So yeah. So basically, just to point out what I'm doing right now is I'm basically going through and checking contradictions of things. So we've got this Alvin that may fit into the family, the name matches up, but something doesn't seem to fit because he's not showing up in these census records unless he's this Oliver, which obviously it seems that it's not the case. So it's just basically kind of trying to prove myself wrong while also prove myself right. So, yeah. All right. So, Alvin's not a relative. I don't think we need to worry about it. Let's take a look at this marriage record. So, one thing we can also do, actually, we'll take a look and see how many Molenkamps were in this area, because I wonder if this was a big family that said it. So, okay. So, County of St. Charles in the state of Missouri, Henry Molenkamp is over the age of 21 years, and Emma Bruns of St. Charles in the county of Missouri and the state of Missouri, who is over the age of 18 and with her father's written consent. They marry on the 24th day of March, 1883, or the witness, I guess. Is this, yeah, the license. Okay. And yeah, done in the Lutheran Church. And then these are, yeah, 2 to a page, so there's probably nothing on the back. Yeah, nothing on the back. So this is the marriage of Taylor Swift's third great-grandparents. Is that right? Taylor Swift's third great-grandparents. Second great-grandparents. Second great-grandparents. And let's get that added in too, because I want to have Emma's maiden name in there, Bruns. Oh. That. Boom. Emma Bruns. We do want to keep Emma Anna. Saved a tree. And then now I want to look at his parents and see what we can find. So one thing I am curious about is when they arrived in the U.S. and did he fight in the Civil War? Okay, so they did arrive early enough for him to have fought in the Civil War, but it does not seem that there's anything indicating that he did. All right, we have this 1898 Mr. Ben F. Bruns and Miss Martha Molenkamp, both well-known and popular young people of St. Charles, were married at 8 o'clock yesterday morning, the home of Mr. and Mrs. Brun. Wait a second. This is 1898. So that's Emma's parents? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Is that what's going on? No, this is a different marriage. That's what I thought. Ben F. Bruns and Martha Molenkamp. Okay, well, let's see. Does Henry have a sister named Martha? Because if Henry has a sister named Martha, that actually kind of makes a lot of sense. Because then we're dealing with a double marriage sort of thing, or a double cousin sort of thing. So, okay. We have 1870 census. Do we have a Martha? We have Maria. Now, the other question, too, is this them? Because it seems like we have multiple Molenkamps in the thing. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a search. And let's just see Molenkamps. Oh, no. Molenkamp. We're not going to do exact. We'll start out that way. And let's do born plus or minus 10 years, 1860. And they lived in St. Charles, Missouri. And we'll stick to this county for now. So let's just see how many Molenkamps pop up. So we've got a lot of Molenkamps. So let's take a look at our censuses, and what we're going to bring it down to is a single census. So let's look at 1880 federal census. So it looks like we have 20 entries. So we have at least a couple of different families with the name Molenkamp living in this area. Very possibly all the same family in the sense of you go back a few, generation or two. Now we do have some living in St. Charles and then some living in Femme Osage, but this is Malincrot. So, okay. So we've got Henry Molenkamp, Mina Molenkamp, Julie Molenkamp, Herman. So we have two Henrys, and here we go. Look at this. Henry H. Molenkamp living at the house with Henry Molenkamp. So this Henry H., this must be the father of Alvin Molenkamp, who we were looking at before. So Henry Molenkamp, the year's 1880, with his wife Julia. And they're from Hanover. So let's see, are all of their parents' birthplace Hanover? All right, so 1880, we've got Henry H. living with Henry and Julia. So then we have this other Henry, which I think, is that our Henry? That must have been, this must be our Henry, or Taylor Swift's third great-grandfather? I keep needing to go back to remind myself. So Henry, Taylor Swift's second great-grandfather. So in 1880, this is Taylor Swift's second great-grandfather, I believe, Henry. Maybe 21. Yeah. No, 58. Yeah, I guess that's probably him. And his mother Anna, but we don't know. Oh yeah. All right, well, it's probably Anna. I think I saw enough records. Now this is something that I would obviously go back and check if this was for a client or something like that. This is for fun, so I'm not going to be super, super strict with how I do everything. So just for all the hardcore genealogists going, oh, don't add it and not check it. I'm pretty. I think I've seen enough, but just for yeah. So I think this is them because let's see. Johann dies 1876. So yeah. So we've got in 1880 there are 3 men with the name Henry Molenkamp living in St. Charles, Missouri. And these 2 are definitely related. And more than likely, this other one is also related. So this seems to be this household. So we've got one household. Then we have this John Molenkamp, shoemaker, Hanover single, probably of the same family. Let's see, 30. And then we have Mina and Mary. Okay, Mina, Herman. So they're like living in a big household. Oh, stepdaughter. Okay, so this is more family. So, okay, Jojo asks, how often are these censuses? So yeah, in the United States, there's a federal census every 10 years. And then some states will have different censuses at other times. So I think like in New York, there's an 1895 census, an 1885 census, and things like that. I think there are some states that even will do it every 5 years. I think in New Jersey, if I remember correctly, they have like the 1892 census and the 1902 census and things like that. But yeah, the U.S. federal census every 10 years, but the 1890 census was destroyed. There's a big story that goes with that. There was a fire, but then there's also stories that there were records that still existed but were destroyed for some reason. And it just, yeah. So, but big piece of missing history, unfortunately, which is really sad too, because for a lot of people in the U.S. now, a huge majority of the people that live in the U.S. descend from at least 1 or 2 people that immigrated to the U.S. between, I want to say, 1880 and 1890. It was a huge time for immigration. I mean, that's when you see Ellis Island coming into play. So, or was Ellis Island like a little later? Why am I thinking it's 1892? But yeah, so yeah. All right. Okay, so back to this. So here we've got the family. So this is a different Herman Mellencamp and Mina, so stepson. So this is Mina's family, and this Herman is married into it, and they are all from Hanover. So let's see, are there a lot of people from Hanover in this area? So because we do see a lot of people coming from Prussia. Let's see, we've got more Hanover. Is that the Bruns name? Yeah, that's the Bruns name. So the thing that I would learn, okay, so what we're going to do, Hanover, St. Charles, Missouri. There's a lot of stuff called Hanover. History. So I mean, this is one thing's for sure. Taylor Swift has some deep history in this St. Charles, Missouri. At the very least, early 1800s. And okay, yeah, heavy German immigration to Missouri. You know what? If I remember correctly, Auntie Jen of Auntie Jen's Genealogy channel, or I can't remember exactly what it was called, something like that. She had a video, I think, about German migration to Missouri. Yeah, she had a whole video about German migration to Missouri as part of this project we did 4 years ago. Wow. So this is what, when it comes to genealogy, I talked about the 3 steps of doing research, basically building a family tree. The first step is hints. You start building the tree in like Ancestry or MyHeritage or some site that preferably has records or links to stuff that has records. And then you just go through the hints and add the easy things that are already kind of linked up already. Then you go into searching. So once you've kind of hit the hints or you're trying to find something specific, then you go into databases and you do searches to try to find things that aren't coming up as hints. And then the third thing is that then you do researching, which is then reading about the, going in depth about things. And this is part of that research phase of knowing the area they live. They're obviously coming from Hanover. There's multiple Mullen camps going to this area. We do see people with the Hanover area as their ancestry, a lot of the same names that we saw that Brunton's name. We see people with the Mullen camp name. So then it's a matter of, well, what's the history there? And when you learn that history to it, not only do you get a lot more of the story for the family because you understand what was the impetus for going, what were things that they experienced back in Germany, and that led them to moving out into Missouri or for them St. Charles, Missouri. And so when you learn that, that could also help you in finding other records that might not be so apparent to search for otherwise. So this is something that, you can really, really get into cool stuff with. So, we're not going to watch the video now, but this would definitely be something that for anyone that kind of wants to learn, what is the history there? Go watch her video. It was part of a project genealogy that a whole bunch of us YouTubers did. All right, I'm going to look at, let's see, what's chat saying? Okay. Oh wow, yeah, this was all from a while ago. Okay, so let's get back to building things out. So we definitely have an idea that we're dealing with multiple Mullen camp families. We obviously have multiple Henry Mullen camps, but let's, I guess, just kind of build out the father, because this is the immigrant ancestor. And then presumably Anna is also an immigrant ancestor. So yeah, also from Hanover. Now, one trick that you can do too with families that, I'm sure there are websites from Hanover that have more records, is you can look at the trees that are built and see, which ones have a lot of sources. And sometimes people will link sources from those other websites. And it looks like they didn't necessarily link that as much as they linked. I don't know if I saw these in hints, so this might not be something indexed, but this is 1850. It's the 1850 census, but named differently. I was like, what is going on here? So okay, interesting. So it's GeneaVlogger. Okay. So nothing special here. Let's see. Yeah, okay. We have other people that built all this with family. Most people I think that are building on here for this kind of stuff, I don't know if they're super in-depth genealogists. And a lot of time they're probably not going to have that outside of Ancestry sort of thing. So, all right, but I do want to Hanover family search wiki. So, of course, page does not exist or is not accessible. If anyone knows a way, if anyone's familiar with Archeon and knows a way to get to the right page for that, feel free to post it in the chat. Would love that. So, I mean, this is something that I think a lot of people don't realize too, is that for even professional genealogists like myself, there are so many population groups and so many regions and so many places that have unique ways of having their records available in websites or whatever. And so every time you start researching a new family tree, you often fall into this of, well, I need to learn this whole new thing because we need to find, we want to find images. So obviously for this Archeon, it looks like these are old links, which are now not available. And there doesn't really seem to be much else. So, all right, let's see if we can... see if we can figure this out. I want to say it was... okay. Now where... Herbergen. I'm sure I pronounced that terribly. I know I can't pronounce anything well. Okay. No... Menslach or Bersenbrook. No. Okay. Maybe it's just Hanover? Is it just Hanover? Is there one? No. Okay. Oh, they have an English version of the website. Okay, we're going to do all archives. Oh, I clicked the wrong one. That's why. Okay. Herbert Humans Foxburg. Basically, I'm trying to find if there's a specific one for town or... Menslach. Nope. Okay, let's see. I see. Oh, Archeon just updated their website. Okay. Tate Doodles Badberg and John C. Mellencamp Inkter. Interesting. So, okay. Yeah, you can tell that I have not researched on this website before, and that I have not researched in the Hanover area really before. Okay, let's see. Baptism. Baptisms is that. Of course, it doesn't translate it, right? Translate to English. Translate this page. Okay. I mean, that must be it. No digitized, no digitized. Okay, we're getting closer. Getting closer. Bersenbrook and Menslach. I keep running into... I don't know where I'm supposed to look. Do I look just in Hanover? Would you do more celebrities? Yeah, the plan is I'll do more celebrities. I also am planning to do historical figures, and I'll probably start doing polls and things to get people to decide ones that they prefer. The Taylor Swift one, honestly, was I literally just kind of looked at a list of recently trending people, and then I just kind of did a quick search on Genie of who had trees that were already pretty well built. That was okay, I'll be able to find stuff, and I won't get stuck terribly like I am right now. And so hers, it was oh, that'd be perfect. And plus I figured this would be great because a lot of people who are big into Taylor Swift, not maybe necessarily genealogy, may watch this and then become interested. Okay, I just want to try to find this So we're in the Hanover part. All right, where am... Okay, let's try this again. Evangelical. Okay, it has to be... Is it the... King? Yeah. All right. Oh, interesting. Okay. Field Church Register. Oh, I'm in the wrong place again. I need Hanover. So maybe what I'm looking for isn't really available. Yeah, see, part of it is I don't know these areas well. So that's one thing I should do is... All right. No. Okay. Herbergen, Hanover. Okay, Bersenbruch, Osnabrück. Maybe it's this Osna. No, it's not. Okay. Okay, we're... If you know the town name, you can search for that in the location search. You can, okay. Ah, ha 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 ha. I think... So, Herkenbuch, I'm sure that's church book. Menslag. Okay, let's translate the page again. Give me that translation. Funerals, church registers. So church registers 1835. Ah, you do not have access to view. All right. Profile the digitized material. All right. Wow, a lot of that. I'm not going to sign up for this right now. So I guess it's a lot of playing around. Is Archeon just for U.S. research? I think it's just for German research. I think it's a German research sort of site. I'm not sure. All right. Well, let's see what we can just build from here then, because based on what Wiki Search or Family Search Wiki is telling us, it's basically Ancestry or Archeon, and Archeon having too much issues. So I guess there are other things, but okay. I am... Oh, wow. Yeah, we're going to be hitting 2 hours on the stream soon, so I probably will be ending it not too long. So let's go up over here, because I want to see... Ooh, wow, look at this. Look at this guy. All right. I'm guessing that must be her father, truly. We get some really good photos. Let's see. The Bruns. Sanford Farmhouse, Griffith Plantation. Wow. Ugh. Okay. Yeah, it really is a shame that it's so glitchy with this. Why do I have City Skylines as a tag? Oh, yeah. I need to take that down. Yeah, it's because the last time I streamed, I think I put it in my tags. Stream info. Skylines. What I do need to do, I'll add this. Taylor Swift. There. Okay. So now this we're looking at for her parents. We want to confirm first that it's actually the right parents. Because if it is, we get that cool picture of her parents. So let's see. Can we find an old enough census? H.H. Bruns, Margaretta Bruns. Can we find anything more recent? Okay, well, we have this Missouri U.S. death certificate. It's for her daughter, so that's not going to tell us anything. U.S. passport applications. Let's see what that tells us. Okay, so we have Emma Barkledge. Why is it Barkledge? Spouse John Barkledge. Did she get remarried? Let's see if other trees put that and have a record for it. Barkledge. That's weird. Got, yeah, 1950 Mullenkamp. Yeah, this Barkledge stuff is wrong. That's weird. That is weird. So Diedrich Bruns, New Sandfort. Okay, here we have this Barkledge thing again. But I don't think that's them. I don't think that's her. There must have just been another Emma Bruns. So, all right, I'm not going to look into that, but that'd be something I'd look into. So, okay, let's, we have nothing that we've been able to use that will help us really actually confirm the parents here. So now, I mean, this is where I'd usually go in to do the the research phase sort of thing. Let's look in here. This is the profile we've seen that has a lot of these gallery photos that are actually seem to be from the actual family, not just people. I guess you could basically say kind of like me, who are just, you know, building this out either of interest because of Taylor Swift or yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Johann Dietrich Burns. They don't have anything really added in here but the photo. Or Bruns. And let's see. Lauren Baskerville originally shared this photo. Now, did she build it because that's her family, or did she build it because it's Taylor Swift? She built it because it was Taylor Swift. Okay. So, okay. So what we're going to do is, even though we didn't find the record to confirm it, and that would be something that I would do, we're going to go ahead and get it added in. Usually what I would do anyway is I would add it in and then kind of confirm it and then kind of change it up, unless, you know, I'd give it a once over sort of look first. Then I kind of go through the records to check. Usually I try to add it. I find a record that has it proven, add those in, and then once that's added in, then kind of improve from there. But with these two, I'm just going to add them in, and then we'll look at the records for them and see if maybe the records for them can confirm better for us. We have no records. He dies in 1912. So let's, all right, Johann Bruns, 1912. Poor guy. Doesn't have anything available for him to to connect. Johann Dietrich Bruns, 1912. Now, I don't do quotations first, and then I will if I need to. No obituaries. Oh, let's double N. Johann Bruns. Went to Missouri. Okay. We've got a German newspaper. Johann Wilhelm. Lots of Johanns, lots of Johanns. Oh, poor Johann. All right. Let's do a regular search. Okay, let's see. Born 1833, so let's do 1833 plus 10 years. St. Charles, Missouri. Back to the county. Let's see what we can find. So, all right, we've got the 1880 census. Seems to possibly be him. So we expect him to be Julia Sophia Elisa Sanford. And then do they have an Emma? So we've got an Emma here, but this looks like it's transcribed as Emala, but what it looks like to me is an Emma C. So let's see if we can find a letter from this same enumerator. It looks like a C, but basically we want to confirm it. Is it a C? So can we find a name that we can confirm starts C? And it looks like that. So here we go. Cornelius, Carolina. So we have Emma C. And based on what we know, Emma Anna Bruns, I'm not sure. Do we have an 1880 census for her, though? I don't think we did. So this could... Oh, no, here we go. Emma Bruns, but father H.H., and then mother Margarita, which does not match up at all. H.H. and Margarita. But this does. Elisa. Yeah, Elisa. So this seems to be like we are on the right path. Like that's right, but don't know for sure. Don't know for sure. All right, we've got to find a grave though. So J. Dietrich Bruns, which, you know what? Maybe that's why he wasn't coming up in the newspaper stuff. So let's try it like that. J. Dietrich Bruns. We'll just search like that for now. George Bruns. Yeah, I don't know if that's them. That's Illinois. Let's see. Just Dietrich Bruns. In Missouri. Dietrich Bruns. So that's a different Dietrich. It's children. So, well, here we've got the daughter, Emma Anna Bruns Molenkamp, and then through her, going through her child, was it Elmer Henry, I think it was? Yeah. And that's the great-grandfather. So, okay. It's keeping track of where we're at. So, we're not 100% sure about this. So let's put a tag in here. Actively researching, unverified. Same thing for the wife. So that way we know, or at least if somebody comes in and looks, they go, oh, hey, look, he labeled it like that. So he's not 100% sure. All right. But we do actually here. We're going to... blah, 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 blah. Save to someone in your tree. Johann Dietrich Bruns. right. So Julia, Sophia, Elisa, Sanford, the maiden names, so we're keeping it that. Keep all of that. And then Hein J. Bruns. It's probably Heinrich Johann, but I'm not going to change it yet. Then we have Emma Mellencamp, who is the second great-grandmother of Taylor Swift. Nothing really new to add there. And then another sibling, George John Bruns. So, yeah, we're moving along. Now we have a lot more popping up, it looks like. More photos of them. 1870, 1860. Now, the thing I really want to see, yeah, Civil War draft registration. So a lot of people often see World War I draft. A lot of people will see World War II draft. But this is indexing of the Civil War draft, which is this the, let's see, is this? Tell us the fronts. Tell us the date exactly. No. Okay. All right. We'll go back. Go back. So we are looking for the John Dietrich Bruns. Here we go. Dietrich, 29. White, farmer, married. Place of birth, Germany. No remarks. Okay. So, does he fight, though? That's the question. Does he fight? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So let's take a look at some Fold 3 records then. United States, Civil War. Okay. No. Oh. Just find Bruns. Anton Bruns. Nope. Not it. Not it. Okay, so I don't think he fought. So, all right. Oh, we got another one of these questions. Hi, bro. Do you do this as a service? If so, how much? I'm currently not taking private clients. I may in the future, but one thing I am doing is I do one-on-one sessions, which can be bought technically through my Patreon. It's just one a month, basically. Either a half-hour session or an hour session. Also comes with, you know, other extra stuff like exclusive videos, early access videos, and then I send updates about research and stuff too on future videos. So the one-on-one sessions can be helpful where, you know, I can help guide you in what to do next, and I can look at questions and things. But if you do want to hire someone like full on to do a really in-depth thing, I would suggest looking at the website Association of Professional Genealogists. It's APGen. What is that? I think it's apgen.org. Let me put it in the chat. There's a directory where you can search for genealogists, and especially if you have a very specific question and your family comes from a specific area, you can do a search in the directory and find genealogists that specialize in that, because there's so many expertises and specialties out there that if you have something specific, that can it's best to find someone who knows what they're dealing with that sort of research. So okay, so going back, we finally have all this stuff actually coming in. Let's see what trees people have built. It's a lot of the same stuff. I think we looked at this tree before. Yeah, that's right, because it's all in like German, I guess. So yeah. Okay. So we're going to go back. How long have I gone? Oh my gosh. It's actually kind of funny. This stream has been a lot of fun for me, just building a tree and stuff. And it goes to show how easy you can just build and build trees sometimes and not even notice the time pass. Because I did not realize I've been streaming for over 2 hours now. Wow. So, okay. So this is what we've built out so far. Learned a little bit about the stories in the family. Not a whole lot, but kind of, you know, just general building out. And then we didn't even touch this other side. So let's see, did we go? Yeah, we didn't even do anything all the way up there. So yeah, so we did make some headway. Didn't find a ton of stories necessarily, but we did get to try out a whole bunch of different things. And oh, the link doesn't work. Ah, that's lame. Okay. It's a weird one. I'm assuming, Charlie, you mean the AP Gen link, which maybe it needs to be this long thing of whatever. So, all right. So yeah. So I think I'm gonna basically kind of call it here. Now that we've kind of hit over 2 hours, but I think, you know, this was a lot of fun, and maybe for the next one we'll get into the other side. Let me know, should I get into the other side of Taylor Swift's family tree, or the next time I do one of these streams, should I do another celebrity or historical person? So if you have anyone you'd like me to do for one of these streams, definitely comment or post. Let me know. You know, for people that are watching this after it's live, comment. For anyone watching live right now, I mean, I'm not going to end it just yet. It'll be a few more minutes. I'll keep chatting. But, you know, be sure to let me know. Oh, it isn't blue. Yeah, I don't know. You just have to copy and paste it, I guess. Yeah, if you can make it a link, Charlie, that'd be great. So the one thing I will say with choosing people to have as the focus for building these family trees is try to aim for people. Oh, you know what I want to do while we're finishing up talking? I want to add in the photos of ancestors that are there, just so we can see what that looks like once it's done. But if it's someone who's living, their family needs to be very readily known publicly already. So like, I wouldn't do Mr. Beast live on a stream. Like, I've built out Mr. Beast's family tree, and I've messaged him a bunch of times asking him if he'd give me permission to do a stream, or not a stream, excuse me, to do videos about his family tree through the YouTuber Family Tree series, especially because I found out that he and Morgan, not Morgan Freeman, what is his name? The guy that did the 30-day hamburger McDonald's thing. Why can't I think? Morgan Spurlock. Mr. Beast and Morgan Spurlock are like fourth cousins or something like that. And so I wanted to do a video about that and other stuff I found in his tree. And it was like, I will not do it unless he gives me permission. And same thing with any other celebrities or whatever who are living celebrities and their family information isn't well known. Like especially if they specifically avoid putting that out there. I don't want to make people uncomfortable. So if there are celebrities that you want to have me do, and take a quick look, see if it's already kind of available. Oh, excuse me. If not, yeah, I don't know. So, and maybe one thing that I was thinking about too while I was doing this is, you know, I get a lot of people, and right there, a lot of people who'd love me to do theirs either on stream or, you know, just do it in general. And I would love to, but it's just a matter of time. So I may do it where, you know, I do already have it on my streams, and I didn't say it this stream at all, but if people do a super chat, or I guess Twitch, I don't have donations yet, but, you know, a donation or a super chat or whatever, and they have a question with that, I will guarantee that I'll try to answer it. And maybe what I can do for these streams is if people, you know, maybe I'll do some sort of high mark sort of thing, because I can't just have everybody doing it. It would kill the stream, but have some sort of a thing that, you know, if you put in this much, I'll spend so much time building your tree on stream or something. I don't know. I have to think about that because there's a lot of privacy stuff and things that go into it. But just, I don't know. I'm just thinking of different fun stuff sort of thing to do. Now for this one, for Robert Finlay, for everyone who's been here from the beginning, if you remember, I found out that the photo that people have of him, this photo, that is not him. That's an ancestor from a different side of Taylor's family. This is him. So this is the one we're going to save to the tree. And then we didn't build out those parents, so we won't add any photos. Oh, and there weren't any photos of Elmer or Cora. I wonder if, you know what? I guess, you know, the stream's not over yet. Let's... Elmer Molenkamp. Elmer Molenkamp. Let's see. I want to see if I can find a photo of him. Huh. No, okay. Miss Henry Molenkamp of St. Louis is visiting at the home of her son, Elmer, and family. And Fan Illy. I wonder. Let's see. Virginia Humphrey née Molenkamp, also called Jenny, born in Memphis, Tennessee. So this is, if I remember correctly, this would be, yeah. So this is Taylor Swift's great aunt. This is her obituary. She was the dear daughter of the late Coralie and Elmer Molenkamp and a dear sister of the late Marjorie Finlay. She was a beloved mother of Leslie Robert White of O'Fallon and Lynn Gregg working in Robin Fire. Yeah. She was a dear aunt, great aunt, not a grand aunt, a great aunt, cousin and friend. So, yeah. So, and who is she a great aunt to? Taylor Swift. Is she the greatest of aunts? I don't know. Ooh, is that? Oh, no. Solo Mrs. Yeah, look at that. Taylor definitely has that singing gene from this side, it seems. Okay. I was hoping to maybe find a photo of Elmer. Let's see. Elected to the board. Chief engineer of the Missouri Reformatory. The following men were elected to the board of the country club. Okay, so what country club? Because this is where we get into the researching part of things. Because we see that there's this country club. What is... Oh, Kramer. Nothing there. So if we can figure out what country club this is, that could be something we could look into. Let's see... Maybe it's just, yeah, St. Louis Country Club. Yeah, okay. No. Okay, but the country club, St. Louis Club. So it's literally this, St. Louis Country Club. They don't have. So I actually did similar research in my own family because my great grandfather Harry Ross worked at the Cobb's. What was it? Cobb's Country Club in Philadelphia. Cobb's, I don't know, something like that. And I contacted them because they still existed, and they looked into it and they had employment records and things like that for him. So that would be something like that I would do in looking into this, is see what records to find related to the club, especially, you know, we've got week of March 14th, 1933. So let's see. Jesse Guilford, Tommy Armour, Francis Ume, and Bobby Jones. I think those are all famous tennis players, though, or golf players or whatever. Okay. Oh, whoops. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Gosh, if only we could find a picture of the guy. I just want to see what the guy looks like. All right. One thing maybe we can see. 1897. St. Louis. St. Charles. So basically what I'm trying to think is St. Charles, Missouri high school yearbooks. Okay, let's do birth. What was it, like 1897? Just to see what else pops up. All right, so we have a few. Luella, now Oliver Martin. Yeah. Okay. Roberta Cornelia. No, I don't think he had any siblings. Do we find anything with him having siblings? Because I think it was just, yeah. Because if we look at the obituary, dear father of Oliver D., Martin W., and Elmer H. So it's just the boys. So they didn't seem to go here. Huh. Whoops. Okay, let's Charles, Missouri. Yeah. Okay. Now, what high schools were around in St. Charles, Missouri? That's the other question. So let's do, what's the spouse's name? Bruns. That's, oh wait, no. That's his mom's name. That's right, Cora Morrow. But she was born in Arkansas. When did she get to? So Arkansas, 1910. 1920, where was it? Still in Arkansas. So she went to school in Arkansas. Okay. Let's see, Morrow, 1900, and we're just going to do Arkansas. Do we have a specific Arkansas? LaGrew. Okay. Oh, I did exactly this place. Let's make county. Okay. Now, mom is Cora Lee. And we really don't even have that many Morrows. It's just this one Rita Morrow. Sophomore boys. Sophomore girls. Oh, it's... Yeah. Oh, gosh, I just want to find a photo of the great-grandparents. Just end on a nice high note like that, but... Yeah, I guess, I don't know. So, I mean, from here, like, what I would do is looking at LaGrue high schools. Yeah, high school yearbooks. So, okay, LaGrange. Is that right? Okay, let's see. LaGrue, Missouri high school. So learn what high schools are there, see what high schools... See, I don't even know that much about Arkansas. So Arkansas City, Arkansas was where she was at, which was LaGrue or whatever that is. So maybe it's just... Oh, that's right. She was in Arkansas. I'm doing Missouri. Arkansas high schools. High school yearbooks. So LaGrue Springs yearbooks. Okay, so we've got yearbooks. And we don't know where she went. We just know it's Arkansas. And probably about 1918 is when we want to look. So let's see. All right. Yeah, see, we need to figure out which school it is. Yeah, so, all right, yeah, this is going to get into some in-depth researching. So, all right, I think I'm going to call it here. We've got this built out pretty well, I think, so far. But once again, just let me know, should I keep continuing with it or not, or do a different person for the next one. So, greatly appreciate everybody joining the stream. Once again, I said I was going to plan for a shorter stream of maybe, around an hour, hour and a half, and I end up doing almost 2.5 hours. So typical GeneaVlogger. But if you haven't already, please be sure to like, subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. I'm on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube streaming. So definitely follow me on Twitch or Facebook if you haven't already, if you're there. Also, there's the Discord, there's the Reddit. I'll be doing a live stream next week on the reaction channel for the Reddit questions. And then, yeah, just so many other things. I'm not going to bore you all with it. So I think you've all heard me say it a whole bunch. But thank you so much again for joining the stream. I think this was the strongest one I've had so far, which makes a lot of sense. I figured, building a celebrities tree would be interesting to the general public, not just the genealogy people. So thank you everybody for joining. I'm out.